by pound. Please wait. This conference is being recorded.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Kea Meira with Hariyatma Yoga Herbs, and it's a beautiful spring day here in Los Angeles, and we are, I hope everyone's enjoying that little extra hour of time of sunlight that we're getting. This month there's been a lot of springing forward. We've pushed our clocks ahead. We're enjoying springing buds that are everywhere and abound. And so it's really a time, a perfect time to cleanse the body, cleanse the spirit, cleanse the home, and just really set the space up for releasing the old and embarking on the new. So I'm very excited to be hosting the HO2 Cleanse Spring online group. And we are doing it a little bit differently this time. This particular cleanse, this will be my first one where I'm going to take the herbs, the herbal regimen that goes along with the HO2 cleanse, but I'm going to do a fruit fast. Now, of course, that doesn't mean that you would do a fruit fast, but I will give you all the details of what I'm doing, and then you'll have the option of using the traditional recipes that come along with the cleanse and going with that. But at this point, I want to take a moment to see who's joined the call and invite you to say your name and let us know what your questions are or what brought you to our call today.
I don't know, it's just me. This is Christabel. Elsa is first to you.
Yes. Hi, Christabel. It's very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
How are you doing today?
Good, yeah.
Good. So yeah, I did receive your email, and I'm excited for you that you're starting. This will be your first time cleansing, right?
Yes.
Okay. And what are some of the goals that you have for this cleanse? Like, what are some of the things that made you feel like I need to cleanse?
I've just over the past year have really been trying to be healthier and to lose weight and be more active, and so I feel like I'm ready. I'm in a position where a cleanse might actually, make a big difference and put me over to that next level that I'm trying to get to.
Yeah. I can definitely relate, and I think a lot of people that may be dialing in and playing this back will be able to relate to that as well, because we all kind of hit that mark where you just feel like, all right, enough is enough. I need a little jump start.
Right.
And I think you'll find that the cleanse will help you in that, because a lot of times when we're trying to achieve our weight loss goals, we get frustrated because we're wondering what's happening. I'm changing my diet, I'm exercising. So why is the weight not leaving? And a lot of times the problem is that we still have things trapped in our cells and in our bodies from the previous diet that we had, and it won't let us absorb the new nutrients, and it won't let the body sort of reset. And so a lot of times when people cleanse for the first time, they're happy with the results of just being able to absorb these nutrients from the new foods that you'll be introducing. And in doing that, it helps you to sort of appreciate the foods and look forward to having more of the plant-based foods, more of the alkaline foods, and more of the superfoods that really nourish your body. And then how that ends up working for you in the long term is that overall in your lifestyle, because you'll be craving more of those types of foods, you'll be crowding out the foods that we overeat, like the starches and the fast foods or the processed foods. And then you'll just naturally start to see your weight diminish, and it'll be in a nice steady pace that you can sustain. So with this, I just want to explain a little bit about the process. And so with the HO2 cleanse, with the program, basically you'll receive herbal regimen, you'll receive organic and well-crafted herbs that come in both a tincture, a liquid tonic that you take daily. So you'll receive 4 bottles of the liquid tonic, which I call the HO2 tonic, It stands for Herbal Oxygen Tonic because out of the 24 different herbs that are in this mixture, they're largely high for iron and vitamin C in the body. Iron is the carrier of oxygen, and vitamin C helps you to absorb the iron better. So what that does for you is it puts your blood in a situation where it can clean out all the toxins that are in the blood, and then it nourishes the liver really deeply. And then most people usually find surprisingly just how deficient they are in iron, because it's hard for a lot of us to absorb the vitamin forms of iron, and generally it can cause constipation in a lot of people when they're getting the chelated irons. So by getting it in a plant-based form, it's ionic sized, and your body just literally drinks it up, just as if you were drinking, say, a green juice, or you were drinking something that was plant-based. The size of it, the molecules are very much in alignment with our bodies. So you'll be drinking this tonic daily while you're cleansing. It's an 8-ounce bottle of tonic, so you take about 4 ounces per day. And there's an array of comments on how that tastes. So I always just like to be very honest with people. If you've never had anything herbal before, you might be a little bit taken aback when you first take it. It is sweet, though it is there's no preservatives in it. It's very naturally preserved, but because it's in a base of vegetable glycerin and blackstrap molasses, it does have a sweetness to it. So it's not like the bitterest thing you've ever had in your life, but it does taste herbal. So for some, they take it and they're like, oh my God, I love this taste, and they look forward to taking it. And for others, they may have to dilute it down with a little bit of juice. And so you just kind of, see how you are with it. But just be open the first time to try it out, and see how you respond to it. But more than anything, what you'll see is that you'll be more energized by taking the tonic, and numerous clients have raved about how it curbs their cravings. So they're not craving sugar, they're not craving the things that they normally would crave when you're eating such a clean diet. And then in addition to the tonics, daily you'll take a series of colon capsules. So with your herbal kit, you get your tonic, HO2 tonic, and you get your colon therapy capsules. And each person is different. The general recommended dose that I recommend is 12 capsules, but you may modify, you may take it down to 8, you may increase it up to 16 or even 20 capsules. But I generally recommend people to start with about 12 unless they know that their digestive system, their metabolism is really fast, or if they know that they're on some type of medication. If you're on medication, then you want to email me, and we should talk outside of this meeting, just to be sure that we understand what medications you're on, and all of those things, so that you can confirm with your doctor that this is all good. And we can just have a conversation about how to modify the dose, because there generally is a modified lesser dose for someone on meds, depending on what medications you're on. If it's birth control, that's normal. But another question that often comes up is, should I continue to take my supplements? Like if you're taking, say, a multivitamin or other types of supplements or other herbs, what I encourage is, while you're on the cleanse, is to sort of stick to this format. So the HO2 tonic is so nutrient dense, it's very high in vitamins and minerals, that to the point where if you were taking your supplements in addition to it, it may cause you to have diarrhea because you've got too much of a good thing going on. So it's helpful to just kind of focus with the supplements and the herbs that are recommended for this cleanse, and then go ahead and pick up with the other things that you've had and that you've continued and you have on your regimen. The other thing that you get with your kit, it's also included, is a alkaline food and recipe list. It's plant-based foods that are all alkaline and superfood. So a lot of questions that often come in, are, you don't have spinach on the list, or you don't have pineapples on the list, or there's certain fruits and vegetables that you may not see on the list. It doesn't mean that you can't have it. But what I have on the list are the top nutrient dense superfood like foods, such as avocados, such as kale. And so you'll see with the recipes that you have included with your food list that all of the foods that are listed on the food list are included in the recipes. So what I generally recommend, especially if you're a very busy person, very busy lifestyle, and you're wanting to fit this in a way that doesn't stress you out, trying to do all these different recipes, or it's a lot to take on initially for someone who isn't at home every day and doesn't have all day to do this cleanse. What I recommend is to look at on the recipe list the foods that stand out for you, the foods that are listed for breakfast foods, which is generally a green smoothie or red smoothie. There's at least about 6 different smoothie options, and there's juicing options, and there's fresh coconut water option, and there are an array of salads and an array of cooked foods. So you're eating both cooked and raw plant-based foods. The grains that are allowed on the cleanse are quinoa, amaranth, millet, very light grains that are high in protein, very packed in protein. And what I have is I have a no list in the HO2 cleanse support materials that you'll receive in email. You'll have your food and recipe list, and you'll have your commonly asked questions. You'll have a restaurant list, and you'll have alternative resource guide. So with those things, it's pretty much a book that you get that I actually really strongly encourage you to sit with over a cup of tea and just kind of breeze through a lot of the material so that you can prepare your home, you can prepare your cabinet. We have a week before we're going to start, so you have some time to gather your food, you have some time to go over the recipes and just choose the recipes that stand out. And maybe what you do is you just make those same recipes daily so that you're doing more of a mono diet for 9 days. Some they have the time and they really love to be in the kitchen and they just are excited about all the recipes. So some participants will do a different recipe every day. But as I said, if your schedule is busy and that's not your normal flow, it might be overwhelming. So it's better, if you pick something that you can prepare, either a portion size that covers for 2 days, or something that is simple to prepare that you can do every day. There's a lot of benefit in doing a mono diet, sticking with the same recipes and the same foods for a certain amount of time. There's a lot of healing in that in itself. So you don't lose anything in the way that you choose to go with it. But my biggest recommendation is to keep it simple, because there's a lot of information you're going to see in your packet, and there's even on the food list there's a lot of supplements that you can include as well. But don't try to do everything at once. Just the things that pop out, get those simple things and stay with that. And what I also, even though I have on the commonly asked question, I have a list of absolute no-nos, which are sugar, overusing fried foods, oils, fast foods, alcohol, all forms of dairy, milk, eggs, all those things you don't want to include while you're cleansing. And the reason being is, some of them are obvious, that we overconsume a lot of foods that are processed. And some of them, for example, the eggs or dairy, those are mucus forming in the body. And because you're eating while you're cleansing, while you're taking herbs, you want to be sure that you're using foods that are alkaline, that don't create extra mucus buildup in the body. So that's kind of the thought process there. But I always tell people, and I remind everyone, that this is a cleanse that isn't, there isn't this rigid aspect to it where it's like, oh my God, I'm at a restaurant with friends and they're serving brown rice. There's no quinoa. What do I do? Or I had, a little bit of organic meat because I was out, and people have moments where they need to go off of the cleanse. I actually encourage you to set your intention to be on it, of course, but don't beat yourself up if you, for whatever reason, you have to step off. Maybe you have a little fish here, maybe you had a little, organic meat. All that I ask is that you try to let it be organic, if you do those things. But most times, to be really honest, in all the years that I've led this cleanse, there's so many people that feel like they're not going to be able to stick to it. And I would say there's about a 95% success rate of sticking to the diet. Very few people, that have confessed it to me, that very few people have ventured off. And they might think they will, but what's interesting is once your body starts having these foods, you'll start craving them more. And especially if you do the last component to this cleanse, that's really, really important, and that's movement. And so I'm a yoga teacher, so I'm a big yoga fan, and I happen to think that, both Kundalini yoga, Hatha yoga forms, these types of movements can be so detoxifying for the body and cleansing and supportive of a food cleanse that you're doing. They really, really go well together. But if you're a person who likes to walk or run or swim or hike, just be sure that you're doing more of that. And I have lots and lots of video meditations on my site that have quick core warm-ups and quick meditations that you can do at home, wrapping it around, whatever your normal exercise routine is. What I encourage most is that you exercise long enough daily to sweat, to work up a sweat, because that'll help you to sweat out toxins. In your alternative help and resource guide, that you'll get in your PDF kit, there are a list of spas and acupuncture and colon hydrotherapy. Those are things that if you find yourself, just feeling sluggish and wanting to sort of push through some of the toxins that may be coming out and making you feel tired, going to a Korean spa to sweat it out is a really good way to do it. Going for an acupuncture session just to open up all the energy channels in your body. And colon hydrotherapy as well. Sometimes you need that intervention of having a colonic where someone can help you to flush through some of those toxins. So there's a lot of recommendations and names, for those kind of things. And I had one corporate executive male who was doing my cleanse a few years ago, and he was like, I love this idea, and he said, but I just don't have time to make this food. So what are my options? And so out of that is how you have the restaurant list. And what he did was he literally ate out every day, but he found on the list the places that he could go that would be preparing lots of the foods that are on the recipe list. So he didn't go off of his cleanse at all. I actually recommend that if you can make the foods on your own, please do. And just let the restaurant list be like the occasional treat for yourself. Not only is it going to save you money, but in the long run, you'll learn more of how to prepare these foods and how to include them into your life so that when you stop the cleanse, you'll keep doing your green smoothies, or you'll keep doing the green juice, or there'll be some aspect of it that you really enjoy, that you've learned how to prepare, that's new, that you can then layer into your life, and it'll help to sustain the weight loss, sustain, the balance in your diet and overall lifestyle. So, Christabel, I know I've said a giant mouthful, but out of those things, are there any questions that you have that I can address?
No, I think it's all really helpful. I'm telling to be this for 5 days.
Okay, awesome.
And when I hear the caffeine.
Oh, the caffeine.
So it's probably going to taper off.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And actually, Elsa, it was really good about that. She would start before we cleanse, tapering off, so that when that day happened, she wasn't battling really bad headaches. And I know she found that to be really helpful.
I mean, I feel like you covered everything, and I feel like the packet will have other things to do to prep, I guess, for it.
Yeah. So, That sounds awesome. And so yeah, so I'll be sending out the packet. As soon as once the orders are in, then the email packet, the PDFs go out. So yeah, I suggest if you want to start, go ahead and order. So then I'll have your kit shipped out to you right away. So then when we start on Wednesday, you'll be all good to go.
And then so on Wednesday there's another call.
Yes, on Wednesday we have a call just to sort of tie everybody in together, because we've had participants from Louisiana and from North Carolina and different parts of the country that are all starting on the same day, and so there's a lot of energy behind that. And then we're also tying it into the new moon, which is a really powerful time to begin something new. And so that's the reason why it's on a Wednesday in the middle of the week. But it's energetically going to support your cleanse process. So yeah, so we have the kickoff call. It'll be a half-hour call. We'll all dial into this number, and we'll get our cleanse on together. And just to be prepared a little bit, I usually ask everyone to share an intention of what they want to accomplish in the cleanse. And that also is powerful, because you get to hear everybody's intentions, and you get to sort of voice it out to the world that this is what you want to accomplish in this cleanse. And that in itself can be bring really powerful effects. So yay, I'm excited that you're joining us. I know there's a few other people that are going to be signing up but couldn't make this call. So there's a playback number that I'll be sending out to everyone to be able to play it back and get all the information. All right, love. Well, it was good talking with you, and I hope you have a great rest of the day. And just call me directly or email me. There's tons of video on my website at hariatma.com, HARIATMA.com. I have so much video postings about this cleanse, and so you'll have plenty of time to get yourself ready.
Ready. Like to be prepared.
Yep.
So yeah, so I'll order today so that I can get all the materials and do all my shopping and everything this weekend.
Awesome.
Cool.
All right, well,
Excited.
take care.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And just before we close out, I want to be sure there isn't anyone else on the call that had a question. Okay. Wonderful evening. Peace, love, and light to you all. Bye-bye.